Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to give you 10 tips to help motivate your teen to be successful in school. I'm Rita and today it's all about you. Most teens doesn't have the perception or the view of their future in a long-term run. Particularly in terms of career-wise, in terms of school needs, and in terms of academical performance in general. Teens do much better in school if they feel they have the support of their parents. But this doesn't mean that the parents should step too much on the teen's shoe. It is important to be present, to be interested, but trust your teen in his abilities and in his skills at school. If you have doubts or have the need of some kind of reassurance, just ask the teachers how is the development of your child in terms of academic activities. Create an environment that can be free of distractions. It is important that your teenager will have a physical place with no TV, no phone, and nothing that can eventually be a source of distraction. Particularly young teenagers that are a little bit having more difficulty in the concentration issue. This space has to be also well illuminated, and of course some people really like to study with music or some kind of background sound. This is totally okay, but avoid things that can really distract. So as I told you before, it is important that this place, it is a place where the teenager will feel comfortable doing the school things, and it is important that he will change the space as he would like to have it, or with his own personal objects. Encourage your teen to get help every time that he needs. So every time that he has a doubt, any time that he is not very sure about some matter in the school things, try to encourage him to ask for help, and he should talk with their teacher directly, with a tutor, or even with some friend that can eventually help in this matter. Another thing that is important to encourage our teenagers is to read. Usually something that it's not really very appreciated, but really helps for improving language skills, for instance. To get information in a much more easy and clear way, it helps on the writing process, particularly the one that it can be a little bit more creative. And of course it's something that it is important to help in the learning and in the study skills, because they also develop the critical thinking, as well as the search for information and the search for knowledge in general. Help your teenager with their own organizational, particularly the things from school. For most teens, organization is still a hard topic, but it's very important for an efficient learning moment, for structured routines, for better study habits, and for time management. Another thing that it's important for you to be is not so hard or not too hard on your teenager. Understand that he is making the effort that it is possible, and making him acknowledge his own skills and ability will turn everything much more easier, because it also works on his motivation, and at the same time it will make you understand his own abilities. If you try to push it too hard, maybe you will overwhelm your teenager, and then it will be really hard or even harder for him to stay motivated for school in general. Also understand that he needs to sleep a little bit longer than usually, and he needs to have his social connections. So focus on the effort and not only in the results. Create in your teenager a habit to work for what they want, for what the goals they want to achieve, and let them experience the consequences of that, if they are positive or negative according to their own efforts. Keep helping with the motivation skills of your teenager, with some pep talks that are really needed in this phase of life, giving them the big picture and the effort that they need to have to reach that goal. Emphasize your support in this phase, but create in their own minds all the possibilities or the results of their own efforts. Encourage your teen to search for what they like and develop that area of study, because it is much more easy to study something that we really like and that we are excited for, and then it's not so bad learning about other topics that this teenager can consider that are a little bit more boring, or that it doesn't really connect with them. If your teen is experiencing a great lack of motivation during a long period of time, it may be a symptom of that something is not okay, something a little bit more complicated, like depression, anxiety, or any other cause of mental issue or even a mental state. And in this case, it is important to take immediately your teenagers to see a specialist in health, in mental health, because this is something that should not go any further, and it is and teenager times are times that can be a little bit more difficult to deal with some facts in life. It can involve school or not, and maybe this teenager just need some other kind of help, and it is important for us parents to be aware, because this can degenerate very fast and very easy during this phase. If you really want to help your teenager, and if you really think that he needs this kind of help, and that you are not really reaching him, consider to see somebody that can give you some tips about this kind of dynamic. And I mean, you can talk to their teachers, but you also can talk to a mental health provider in order to give you some ideas how to specifically motivate your teenager, what can change in your relationship, and how can be your posture and your behavior in certain aspects of your teenager life. And so that's all for today, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, share with a friend, comment if you want, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye!